Hello, brothers. This is, as you know, Attorney Augustus Corbett. And I want to say two things to you in this video. You have the right to be frustrated because promises have been made and not kept. Certainly we feel like, as black men, we lag behind a lot of other people. That's completely understandable, and it's true. But we also have the right to be prosperous, to be wealthy, to be powerful. And I've created a program that I believe can help us get there. Stay with me. I want to introduce you to this program. Hello, everybody. I am Attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. Each and every week, we bring you at least one legal analysis of some trending story regarding politics, policies, personalities, or pop culture to empower you with the information you need to defy this unjust legal system. If that interests you, here's what I need you to do. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell so that you'll get notified every time we upload one of these powerful videos. Now, it really is important that you like, share, and comment. That helps YouTube like our channel. And YouTube really likes our channel. Really. We have grown explosively over the past few months. But there's so many more people we want to reach. So again, like, share, comment, subscribe, click the bell. Now, before we get into what we're going to talk about today, please go over to Amazon.com if you have an African-American boy in public school. You need this book. I talk about all the ways that the public school system damage our young men and what you can do about it. So get your copy today. I promise you, you will thank me later. All right? So yes, as I said, you have the absolute right to be frustrated. Despite progress for many African Americans, we continue to lag behind. We men, we black men. We're disproportionately unemployed. We're disproportionately incarcerated. We're disproportionately killed by police. We're disproportionately impoverished. We're disproportionately stereotyped. And we're disproportionately murdered. Although the overwhelming majority of us are law-abiding, hardworking people, we African-American men. So we have the right to be frustrated. I share that frustration. I started off in life abandoned by my biological father. I was abused. I had a very, very difficult childhood. I even dropped out of high school at 15 years old. I started smoking weed when I was 12. Because I was a lost young black man, I had a chip on my shoulders. No question. I was rebellious. I thought because of my tough circumstances, I thought the world owed me something. But my older brother would say to me often, "The world owes you nothing." And he would put his finger in my chest. I learned later in life that he was partially right and partially wrong. He was right that my anger and rebellious attitude because of my circumstances was creating in me a victim mentality that would cripple me in life if I didn't overcome it. And that it would drive me down a path of self-destruction and dependency. But here's where he was wrong. He was wrong to say the world owed me nothing, because the world does owe me, and it owes you something. It owes us certain rights. For example, we have the right to be treated equally. We have the right to a fair chance. These rights are embedded in our Declaration of Independence. It actually says we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, these rights are also secured in our Constitution. Now, of course, we know when Thomas Jefferson and the others wrote those words, they really wasn't including us. But nonetheless, they apply to us because that is a universal truth. So for me as a Christian, these rights are prescribed in the Bible, which is an even higher authority than the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, because God created us black men in his image, just as he did men of all races. We're equally entitled to the same rights. But we know for centuries, we have been denied those rights in some of the most brutal and dehumanizing ways imaginable. From the horrors of chattel slavery, where our ancestors were treated as property, to the era of Jim Crow, where black men were systematically stripped of dignity and opportunity. Today, we still endure the painful legacy of that history through the ongoing injustices of systemic and institutional and structural racism. Our suffering is not just a matter of history. It is an ever-present reality. So you doggone right. We black men, we have a right to be frustrated. And that frustration runs even deeper when we are fully aware of the insidious racism that continues to impact our lives, our communities, our families. I love a quote from James Baldwin. He said, "To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a state of rage almost all of the time." Man, that's powerful. The question, though, is what do we do with that rage? What do we do with that frustration? Well, let me tell you. Here's what we do with it. We harness it and we use it strategically. The same way we use that rage and harness that rage to be competitive and even superior in sports and entertainment, we also can use it to build wealth, to build our families, to build our communities. In this video, I'm going to share with you a plan that I created, an agenda to build prosperous and powerful black men in this racist society. It can be done. Now, several weeks ago, I introduced you to Advance 2026. Now, Advance 2026 is sort of a national type of approach to our problems and to the problems of the African American community at large. The CEO program, this is about personal development, okay? So Advance 2026 is on a national level. The CEO program, that's what I call it, that's for personal and business development, okay? Now, we're working on the details. We'll be releasing more details in a few days. You can go to our website and you can, in fact, get some preliminary information about the CEO program. All right, so that's what I want to talk to you about today. I have a document here of over 30 pages where I lay out exactly how the CEO program can empower African American men to become prosperous, powerful, despite this racist nation. So this program will give you the potential to become even millionaires. That's not far-fetched. And you heard me right. The right type of program and the things that I'm going to share with you in this CEO program can empower you to become a millionaire. So that's why I said in the beginning, you have the right to be frustrated, but you also have the right to be prosperous, wealthy, and powerful. So I'm going to introduce you to this, and it just depends on what you put into it. I mean, I can't make you do these things that I'm going to give you, but if you do them, if you decide that you're going to put yourself into this, you can absolutely become prosperous, wealthy, and powerful, despite the racism in this country. Now, I've shared with you some of the challenges that I went through. They were horrible. A lot of people didn't think I would live past 16 years old. I didn't think I would live past 16 years old. Well, I'm 62 today, and I overcame all of the things that I experienced as a young man. Okay? And I'm sharing with you how I did it. And if you do these things that I'm going to share with you, black man, you can overcome. That I promise you. Okay? Let's get into this. So again, introducing the CEO program. The mission of the CEO program is building financially and economically prosperous and strategically powerful black men in a racist society. Very simple. That is our mission. Our vision is creating prosperous and powerful black families and communities throughout America. That's our vision. Now, a little background. As an attorney, I have represented hundreds, if not thousands, of black men who have faced serious felony charges. Through my work and personal experience, I've seen firsthand that many of these men end up in legal trouble while simply trying to make a living. For many, the struggle begins with difficulties in school, which is why I wrote the book, Education and Justice. These men may disengage from academics at an early age due to a lack of support or motivation, often doing what I did, dropping out altogether. Without a solid educational foundation, they are left with limited job prospects, pushing them toward low-paying work, or in some cases, the streets. Now, let me tell you this. I went through every bit of that. When I dropped out of high school, I dropped out in the 10th grade. I didn't have a high school diploma. I eventually earned a GED, and it was with that GED that I applied and was accepted into North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. I am eternally grateful for A&T for accepting me. I didn't have an SAT score. I didn't have an ACT score. I had a GED, and that was it. And I was broke. My parents were poor. I had no money to pay for school. And it was the Pell Grant that actually put me through school, which was part of those civil rights laws that LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, passed in the 60s. But even then, I was still immature, I was rebellious, and I literally wasted a lot of time while in college and was suspended and expelled from school several times. So I still, although they let me in, I had to grow up on that campus. And I'm eternally grateful also that A&T allowed me to grow up, allowed me to mature, allowed me to work through all of the issues that I carried with me because of my childhood. You don't go through what I went through and what many of you have gone through and it not have some lingering impact upon you as it did me. And I had to work through it. And what really helped me, and I'm not preaching here, but what really helped me was when I became a committed Christ follower. That turned my life around. I became a different person completely. And so that then put me on another trajectory, right? That's when things began to really, really come together for me. Now, other people find other ways to bring it all together, but for me, it was when I became a committed Christ follower. All right, now, so let's go back to this. For some of these men, the pressure to survive or provide for their families becomes overwhelming, and they turn to illegal activities to supplement their income. Others may see hustling as their primary means of making a living. The inability to earn the money they want and deserve can lead to immense frustration and disillusionment. This sense of helplessness and disappointment is something we deeply empathize with. It's an experience shared by so many in our community, and it underscores the urgent need for better opportunities. So we've all gone through a lot of this. Now, again, I've represented hundreds, maybe thousands of young black men and middle-aged black and older black men and women and whites, Latinos, but mostly black men. And I recall one particular case that stayed with me even to this day. A young black man, a former client, was facing 2 felony charges. Fortunately, I was able to get the charges dismissed, but despite this legal victory, his life was far from back on track. He had already lost his job due to the arrest, and though the charges were dismissed, the arrest remained on his record. In Texas, there are provisions that allow certain cases to be sealed, which would prevent most private employers from seeing the record. However, we can't guarantee full protection, and this young man was left in a very tough position. Cases dismissed, that was a good thing. However, and sadly, it was still on his record. All right? So, here's what happened. He had 2 children to support, and he came to me and asked me a heartfelt question. He said, "Mr. Corbett, what can I do to find employment?" His question weighed heavily on me because I knew that his situation had changed dramatically. I spent several days reflecting and praying, wondering how I could help provide a real sustainable solution, not only for him, but for the many clients that I represented who found themselves in this very same situation. Sort of trapped in a cycle of legal issues, unemployment, and despair. And it was during this period of reflection that the idea for the CEO program was born. Now, CEO means creating economic opportunities for oneself and for one's community. The core ideal behind the CEO program is that we create jobs, not merely seek or ask, sometimes even beg for jobs, but we create economic opportunities for ourselves. So the CEO program is a personal and business empowerment track that emphasizes 2 key principles: righteousness and justice. Again, righteousness and justice. Life is basically an exercise of both of those things, righteousness and justice. Righteousness is what you do. Justice is what society does for you. You got to have both. You can't have only righteousness and society is being unjust to you. Nor can you have justice, but you're not doing anything to help yourself. Right? You need both. You need righteousness and justice. Now, what is righteousness? Righteousness is living by a set of moral principles, values. All right? And your values are really, really, really important. Your values tell you and tell everybody who you really are, what you value, what's important to you, what's in your core, what you truly value. That's who you are. Your values define you. So having some values, and in some cases, reforming your values, is the starting point of becoming prosperous and wealthy and powerful. And at the same time, yes, you need to be living in a just society. And that's why we advocate for justice. Because as I explained, you need both. You need to be doing some things, some personal things yourself, but you also need equity and fairness. Now, the beautiful thing is, especially today, because of so much progress that we've made, if you got the righteousness part of things down, you can overcome a whole lot of the racism, a whole lot of the injustice, right? mean, we live in a country that is deeply racist, but it's nowhere near how it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 or 300, 400 years ago. There are tremendous opportunities out here nowadays. I like to say it this way, that not only must we be in opposition to racism, we must also take advantage of the opportunities that our ancestors have obtained for us. Now, with all that said, I want to give you 10 things from our CEO program that will help you get on what we like to say on the right track. All right, because again, the CEO program consists of a personal development track and a business development track. So after a person goes through this 10-week program on a personal development track that we're going to walk this person through or walk people through, then that person is prepared and ready to start that business development track, which is about a 16-week period. So this could last up to 6 months. 6 months of personal and business development. Think of it this way. If you're thinking to yourself, that's a long time. Think of it this way. It took you a long time to get here, right? It's going to take some time for you to come out. And as I said, your values got to change, right? So let's look at those 10 things quickly. I'm just going to sort of mention them. We're going to keep it moving because it's once you get in the program that we will develop you into 10 things that I'm just about to lay out before you. And again, they are a combination of both righteousness and justice. All right, so let's go to the other screen. So number one, discover your purpose in life. I cannot overstate how important that is because everybody is born with a purpose. Everyone, no one. God does not allow anyone to come in this earth without a purpose. And a lot of times the reason why we see failure in our lives is because we never discovered that purpose. We never found out what God's purpose was for releasing us into the earth. You have a purpose. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have a purpose. It's your job to find out what that purpose is. Secondly, you need to write out your life's vision and set goals. This is what we're going to teach you in the CEO program so that you can do what? Create economic opportunities for yourself and for your community. That's the way we used to do things before we integrated. We had to. We had to provide for ourselves and do for ourselves. We had to build businesses. We had to give each other jobs because we were marginalized, right? So this is really just going back to the way that we did things. Now you're going to learn a lot in this course, in this program about, how things were done before integration. And I'm not condemning integration. Integration was a positive thing. But one of the mistakes we made was that we abandoned our economic base. All right, so write out your life's vision. Sit down and literally write it out. What do you see? What do you see for your life? A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and then set goals. Just having a vision and no goals will get you nowhere. Got to set goals. Number 3, be a family man. Be a family man. Be a family man. That is really, really important. What does that mean? That means finding a woman that you love, commit to that woman, marry that woman, take care of that woman, and have children only with that woman. Have children only with that woman. Now, of course, I know many of you who are listening to me, you already have children, and you may already be married or you may not be married. I know. I'm talking to you as if, you're sort of starting out on this journey, right? But I know that there are all types of circumstances that are already out there. So if you already have children, then just be a good father to those children. Okay? That is one of the biggest issues in our community. fatherless children. I can't count to you the number of young men that I have represented. Mostly, they grew up in the home of a single mother. And we just know, let's just be honest about it, you women who may be listening to this, at a certain age, a young man needs a man in his life because his mother will not be able to help him become a man. It just doesn't work that way. That's why God gave us mothers and fathers, right? I have a 29-year-old son, and if I wasn't in his life in his formative years, 13, 12, 14, 15, his life would be completely different today. He'll tell you that himself, because his mother would have just loved him right into self-destruction. But I was there to say, nope, no, you're not babying him. I remember when he was 12 years old, I told him something that makes me chuckle to this day. He asked me for some money, and I said to him, I don't give grown men money. And he was only 12 years old. And he looked at me kind of strange. His mother looked at me, my wife looked at me like, what are you talking about? This kid is only 12. But I knew what I was doing. And I meant what I said. You 12 years old, 13 years old, dude, you right around the corner from being a grown man. You're probably already where you can make children. I mean, so I don't give grown men money. My point to him was, go out and make your own money. That was my point. You got to go and earn your money. Get my lawnmower over there and go cut some grass. Go down to the local supermarket, get a job. Which is exactly what he did. He had to, because I meant what I said. So he went and got a job. He went and got a job. And he worked all the way through high school while playing basketball, while playing basketball. And I told him, look, if you don't, and I kind of played both of them against each other. I said, look, if you don't hit them books, you don't play ball. And you're not going to be able to go to work and make money so you can have money in your pocket. In other words, in fact, there were 3 B's that I raised the kids on, my wife and I. The Bible, books, and balls. Those 3 B's. The Bible first, books second, and then football, basketball, whatever, that was third. Those were our priorities in our home. Okay? So, be a family man. One really important legal reason for being a family man is you won't have a lot of children all over the place where you're having to pay child support. And having a child support system and child support judge all in your stuff all the time. As an attorney, I see it every single day. The way to avoid that, find one woman, love her, commit to her, marry her, and have children only with that woman. And whatever children you have, you got to take care of them. Now, I'm pretty tough on that because my father abandoned me. My biological father abandoned me, and another man had to take care of me. All right? So, be a family man. All right, let's go back to the other screen. I'm talking to you about how to become a prosperous and powerful or wealthy black man. Keep and protect your good name. That's the next thing. Your good name is one of the most important assets that you have. It is at the top of the list. A good name. So in order to have a good name, you need to be a hardworking man. You need to be an honest man. You need to pay your bills on time. So that when you start this business thing, right, you got a good name that can be used to get you the financing that you need for your business development. So keep and protect your good name. Avoid bad company. Bad company will corrupt your values. You will start adopting to the values of the people that you hang around. One of you will conform to the other. All right? Keep good people around you. Keep good people around you. You can pretty much tell where someone is going by the company they keep. You can predict it. Vote always. I'm throwing this in here because this is a part of the justice side of things. I know that there's a barrage of distraction and disinformation out there telling you not to vote or to even vote for the white supremacist crowd. Please, just use your head on that point. Vote always. Make sure your voice is heard. Vote always. And again, just close off the distraction of this vote the couch nonsense. Join and support a civil rights organization. This is all about the justice side of things. Because one of the things prosperous, powerful, wealthy men know is you got to do for your community like for yourself. In other words, you got to give back. It's not just about you. If it's just about you, then you're probably not going to end up being this prosperous, powerful person that I'm talking about. Because being prosperous is not just having money, right? But it's living a good life. So what, somebody has money and their life is all banged up, all messed up. So in order to have a holistically good life where there's money, there are relationships, there is a good family situation, your children are doing well, then you have to be, as a man, you got to be able to give and pour into others. As a matter of fact, that is a huge part of being a man. We live for those we love. We get up, we go to work, we come home tired because of the ones we love, the ones who are depending upon us, right? So we can't live a selfish life and be a good man at the same time and expect to prosper and so on. All right, let's go back. Educate yourself on racial justice issues. How do you do that? Well, you become a reader. Secondly, you listen to experts, not pro-black imposters. Experts. You listen to those who are educated and knowledgeable about politics and the law and so on. I've noticed that they're here on YouTube. Boy, there are people on YouTube who are basically anti-intellectual. They rather believe someone who knows nothing about what they're saying than to go and listen to the expert. That's the reason why we are so bombarded with disinformation, because they know we're in a situation where we're most likely going to listen to that foolishness. Simply because we make two mistakes. We don't read and we don't seek out the experts. The experts. All right, let's go back. Finish this list of 10. Develop or enhance your reading skills. Right? I mean, one of the reasons why is so that you can educate yourself on racial justice issues. But it's not the only reason. Develop or enhance your reading skills. If you have to take a course, if you have to take a course at the local community college, do so to get your reading skills up. Very important. Very, very important. Last of all, create multiple streams of income. We're going to talk about that in this course, and we're going to help you create one of those streams, and that is through business development. Now, let me say this. Not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is cut out to be a business owner. I think everyone should give it a shot, to be honest with you, because it's that important in a capitalistic society like the one we have here. But it's not the only way to make money. Legitimate, legal money. Right? But it is one of the best ways to become prosperous, wealthy, and powerful. At the end of the day, Elon Musk is a billionaire many times over because he's a business owner. Bill Gates, same thing. Many others, they're business owners. They don't work for people. And that's why we call this the CEO program, because we're going to set you up and show you how to be your own boss who is creating for yourself. You're not having to beg somebody for a job, but you're getting out with your own ingenuity, your own hard work, your own industriousness, and you're making it happen. All right? Now, as I come to a close, let me just say this. So many times I hear black men saying or expressing a frustration, especially with the Democratic Party. And again, I've acknowledged that frustration is absolutely legitimate. But let me say this, let's not become dependent on either political party, on the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I'm neither. I'm an independent voter. So let's not be dependent. Let's not sit back and say, well, the Democrats haven't done anything for me. The question, sir, is what have you done for yourself with what the Democratic Party has given you to work with, like the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, the Fair Housing Act, and all the other many laws? That's the question. What have you done for yourself with those tools, those laws that the Democratic Party has done? And then on the flip side, what have you done to harm yourself? What have you done to harm yourself? Right? You may have made decisions and choices, like many of the young men that I've represented, that have harmed yourself. Now, you can overcome those because, as I told you, I had a very, very rocky start. But by God's grace, I overcame. You can overcome as well. But one of the things you can't do is be dependent on either of these political parties. What I need a political party to do for me is to not erect barriers like the GOP does. Don't erect barriers, and make sure you make sure a political party, whichever one, the Democratic Party, because again, we know the GOP doesn't do anything for black people. But the thing I need the Democratic Party to do is to prevent the GOP from erecting barriers, which is what they want to do. Okay? So what I'm trying to express now is we can't be dependent on either party. We gotta be, pounding the streets and making it happen regardless of who's in office. Now, we definitely need to do everything we can to keep Trump out of office because of the things that we know he's intending to do if he gets back in office. He's, just unhinged, really. So back to this last thing of multiple income streams. We're going to show you how to do just that. Okay? The CEO program, getting on track to create economic opportunities for yourself and for your community. Now, you can go to our website, lljp.org, and go to the menu and find where it says issues, hover over that, and at the very bottom, you'll see the CEO program. Go there, and there will be more information about the CEO program. All right? All right, so that's it for today. Thank you for listening. I am Attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers, and this is what we do. We want to build a movement, not just create videos, but build a movement that can empower you, our people. All right? I'm out. Until the next time. Peace.